don't fall. Good morning, good morning. I'm a hot mess. I just got back from my walk. I'm sweaty. I don't have my ring light. You're going up my chin, so just ignore all of those things. But I have a really good message, analogy, something I want to pour into you that I think might be a light bulb moment for a lot of people. So send this to the chats, pretty please. Say hi when you hop on. I hope that your Monday morning is going fantabulous. Good morning, good morning. Okay, I'm gonna hop right into this. So I am listening to a Grant Cardone audiobook. And I'll say this all the time. I know that he's not everybody's cup of tea, but especially when I just need like fire in my soul and a swift kick in the ass, sometimes he does that. There's some things he says I don't agree with. He's a little bit crazy with some stuff, but he made the best analogy I have ever freaking heard. And you guys know that analogies are like my things. Like sometimes puns are people's things. Analogies are my things. And you guys know that. So I'm going to speak this analogy and then I'm going to speak the message. And this really hit me because it's something I have been talking to you guys about for like almost the past month, just about how you're overanalyzing what's wrong, right? And you're focusing on the things that you need to grow in almost too much, that it's like debilitating you in your business. Remember how I was talking about this? So that's what this has to do with. But he made this amazing analogy. And the whole chapter was about over-promising and over-committing. And I'm going to explain that because that sounds a little funny in the beginning. Like, why would you over-promise something if you don't know if it's true? But in a business like this, you almost have to with your confidence. So he made this analogy and he said, think about iPhones, right? When the new iPhone comes out. And he said, think about how the second that commercial comes out, the second that ad drops, everybody flocks and buys that new iPhone, right? Like it blows the heck up every time. Like tell me an iPhone launched and it was like a dud, right? It always blows up. But I also want you to think about how many times on your new iPhone do you get a notification that your phone needs an update, that there's a glitch, that there's a bug, that there's something that has to be fixed, anything, right? How often does that happen? I've had this phone for, I think like 6 to 7 months now, and weekly I still get notifications that I need to update my phone. Why? Because they're always growing, they're always fixing things, they're always expanding, they're always, working on the glitches, the bugs, all these things. But does that mean that they don't come out with the phone or bring the phone to market until they figured those things out? No, right? They present that phone when they want to, right? When they're ready to put it to market, but that doesn't mean that everything is perfect on it. That doesn't mean that all the glitches are fixed. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have to keep updating, right? And I was like, oh, light bulb, right? I was like, that was really freaking good, because you have to think about that in your business, how that applies, that just because you don't have it all figured out, or just because you don't know, the right way that you think you're supposed to do something, or you haven't hit that part in your growth, or you haven't up-leveled in that certain area, that doesn't mean that you don't show up, right? That doesn't mean that you don't work your business with confidence. That doesn't mean that you don't over-promise what you have. And what he was meaning with that was, oh, this was so good. I was so fired up. I was like walking and I was trying to walk as fast as I could to get home before I lost this fire. But he was like, I over-promise things because I'm over-committed. He was like, I don't care how big of a deal I promise, or, how much I oversell myself or what I promise anybody. He said, because I'm going to end up delivering, even if I don't know how, even if I have to grow along the way, even if I have to figure out a plan as I'm already on that plan. He was like, I'm going to overpromise and oversell myself and overcommit because I'm committed to it, right? And I think that sometimes is the missing factor, is that you're trying so hard to figure out what's wrong, right? And I just spoke about this in my other life, so this is repetitive, I'm sorry, but the analogy just got me. You're so busy trying to figure everything out and not thinking that you've arrived, that you're not having confidence in your business and you're not having commitment. And that's what he was saying, is that every single thing in your business, everything you produce, everything you do comes from commitment. If you're not committed, you're not going to have consistency. You're not going to have creativity. You're not going to be able to show up and deliver yourself, right? And do those over promises and those oversells of, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to figure it out. Like, relate this to when we say, like, speaking your goals out loud, right? Or, you know, putting out your affirmations, or doing your manifesting. When you say, like, I am a 12K leader, you don't have to know exactly how it's going to happen. You don't, Molly, I'm in a moment here. Hold on. Come on. Go lay down. Excuse me. Pardon me. You don't have to know everything that's going to get you there, right? It's that commitment and that overselling yourself and saying it's going to happen. Even if I don't know how, even if I think it's out of my reach, I'm going to commit to it. And then I'm going to show up every single day, and I'm going to fix those bugs, and I'm going to fix those glitches, and I'm going to fix those issues that are causing problems in my organization, in myself, in my business, right? And that's what this whole chapter was about, and it was so good. And he just said, you know, you buy the iPhone anyways. Why? Because of their confidence in the product, because of the way that they present it, because of the features they say they have. They create that fire around it, right? And that's what you have to do too in your business. Think about it with the products. Even if you haven't, let's say you're on a weight loss journey with these products, even if you haven't reached your weight loss goal, or you haven't hit that, you know, number on the scale you want to hit, that doesn't mean that you don't show up and show that crazy confidence with the products, right? That doesn't mean that you don't speak your goals out loud. That doesn't mean that you don't, you know, share the heck out of this product just because you're not there yet. And the same thing goes with your business. You're not signing promoters, you're not signing customers because you're not committed, right? Because you're sitting on those insecurities when you have to learn to work through those and over commit and oversell and over promise and show up and say, I don't freaking know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to show up, right? Let me get back to my notes here because I'm getting off track. But that's what he was saying, is that commitment is where it all begins, and you have to take action anyways. And that was what that last live I talked about. I was saying that you spend so much time identifying what's wrong. You know, oh, well, it's my business isn't working because of this, or I haven't signed people because of this. And yes, being self-aware is so freaking important, and you need to know the areas that you grow in, but don't allow those areas to stop you from taking action. You have to do it anyways, right? That's what I always say. Why do people sign up as a customer with me? Yeah, I'm sure some people, you know, are inspired that I lost the weight on the products, but they sign up with me because of the way I talk about them, right? Because I oversell them, I overcommit with them. I am so in it. When I talk about these products with my passion, they're like, oh my goodness, like I need to have that, right? It's not the price point, it's not the company, it's not all these different things. It's my commitment to them and the way that I present them. Is this making sense? Like the analogy with the iPhone, I was just like, wow, that's so true. Because I can guarantee you that even when you buy that iPhone, you know there's going to be glitches, right? Like as we just know that as consumers of Apple products, we know that when we first buy that product, it's going to take a little bit of time, right? Things are going to be a little wonky. Things are going to be wrong. You know there's going to have to be updates, but you buy it anyways. Why? Because of their confidence, because of the way that they present it, because you know that it's a good product. It's okay if they have to figure things out along the way, right? It's all right. And that's what he was talking about. And the message was just so good. And something else he said that this relates to this too, is that the very thing that is holding you back is the same thing that's holding your audience back. Hear me when I say that. The very thing that is holding you back is the same thing that's holding your audience back. So what if you did it anyways? Then your audience would do it anyways, right? What if you stop sitting in this fear, or I'm not here yet, or I'm not this rank, or I haven't arrived, so I can't talk about that, or I can't share that, or I don't know how to post right, or I don't know how to do these things. What if you just did it anyways, right? That would show them that you're figuring it out along the way and that they can do the same. If you show up as this perfectly, you know, end all be all growth of a person, nobody can relate to that. People relate because they watch you grow, they watch you fall, they watch you evolve as time goes on. And that allows them to know that they can do it anyway, because that's not holding you back, right? You're not allowing that to stop you. You're doing it anyways. And that's what gives them the confidence. So I love that. And then he also said kind of what I was saying, you're so focused on the problem or the problems you've had in the past that you aren't committing or delivering, and you're missing every single opportunity that's right in front of you because your eyes are somewhere else and it's not present. Guys, there's no food in your bowls. You've ate all of it, I promise. Like shoving your bowl against the wall. And I just thought that that was so powerful because it's so true. You have to do it anyways, right? You have to have, and I know that the phrase overselling or overpromising can sound negative. Like, well, I don't want to promise something to somebody that's not true. You make it true, right? You commit to that. And Shay was talking about that on one of the Zooms she did, not this one, the last one, when she was saying, share your tracker, right? Say, I'm gonna be this rank. Look at this bonus I'm gonna earn this month. Look at this. And even if it doesn't happen this month, it'll happen next month or the month after that or when it's supposed to be. But when you are committing and you're going in with that overconfidence and saying, I'm gonna figure it out along the way, that instills confidence in other people, right? And that is when they join you. That is when they sign with you. And that might be what is missing in your business, right? You think you have too many bugs and too many errors and too many things you haven't figured out yet, and you actually haven't committed to this, and you're not realizing that, right? You haven't committed to the bonus you're working towards. You haven't committed to the rank you want to go to. You haven't committed to being a leader, right? You haven't committed to this business as a whole and the belief and passion in it because you don't think you're there yet. And you're so focused on what's not there and so focused on, where you haven't up leveled to or arrived at yet. Do it anyways. Commit anyways. People need to see you fail forward through it. They need to see you be so confident in these products that they don't know what the heck they are, but they need them, right? I just did this the other day when I went on and bought a 400 pack of products out of pocket, not with my credits. Why do I do that? Because I committed to myself that I was going to sell out of samples. I committed to myself. Have I ever sold through a 400 pack of samples in one weekend? Never in my life. Did I do it this weekend? Yes, I did. I have 19 samples sitting on my front porch going out today. Why? Because I committed. I said, I'm gonna buy this pack. I'm gonna sell these samples. I over committed. I over promised. I did that thing and I was there, right? And when you're there, you start to figure it out. You start to fall in line with what you're supposed to be doing. But if you sit back here and you don't start taking those steps, those problems are never going to be figured out. They're never going to be solved. You're never going to feel that growth. It happens along the way. So I just wanted to share that analogy because I thought it was so good, and it kind of related to what Mandy said on the training last night, when she was talking about how she was a sports fan. So she related her business to that and said, a coach doesn't go into the locker room at halftime and say, I really don't know how we're going to do this, guys. I'm really questioning if this is going to happen. I don't really know if we're going to win. Is that what she said? No. You go in there with fire, with passion, with overconfidence, saying, we're going to win this, right? Even if you're down, even if you haven't figured it out, even if you have to rework your plays, you say it anyways. And that's the overcommitment and the overselling and the overconfidence. And you're doing that for yourself so that people can know that they can do it too. Right? Because like I said, what's holding them back is what's holding you back. If you break through that, they will break through that too. Right? I'm not the same person that I was when I joined 2 years ago. If you went and read my posts or, read everything I put up or watched my lives, you wouldn't recognize that girl. People see me evolve. They see me oversell and overcommit and do all these things, right? I was making $200 a month in my last business. I didn't know how the heck I was going to get to 200K, but I said I was going to do it, right? I figured it out along the way. And that's when it happens. It's the overcommitment, the overpromising, the overselling, because it holds you accountable and it gets your butt moving, right? So think about that analogy the next time that you're holding yourself back, or you're realizing that you're not fully committed, or you're not showing up, or maybe you're going through the motions of doing your IPAs and you're going live or you're posting or this and that, but in your heart, you're not doing that overpromising and overselling and overcommitted. Like, you have to start walking that path if you want others to do it with you. So I hope this was helpful. I just thought that was like the best analogy ever. I think I covered everything I wanted to. But just think about that. Like, Apple doesn't sit back and wait to perfect their next phone, right? They come out with their next phone before the last phone's even perfected, right? I don't have the new phone. I have the one that came out last. This thing is still messing up. There's still problems. It's okay, right? I trust in them because they're consistently improving. I'm not worried about my device. They've got to figure it out, right? People need to feel that way about you. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've watched her figure it out. So I can figure it out. I hear the way she talks about those products. I hear the way she talks about that business. I see her growing, right? I see her crushing those goals because I saw her commit to them even when she wasn't ready. So maybe I'm not ready to join this business, but maybe I need to do it anyways because look at her, right? Think about that mindset. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys have a kick-ass Monday and this lit your fire a little bit. And I love you so, so much.